Cool. So when it comes to SPYRAL Mirrormatch, it really doesn't matter sometimes who goes first or second. It's very back and forth. It's relying on what hand traps are drawn and how the players play it. So sometimes the player can go first and draw cherries and decide not to play a card and pass their opponent, then cherries their opponent when their opponent tries to make a play. There's loads of crazy interactions like that, playing around gamma and stuff. Like sometimes if you search off terraforming, like you might not want to draw there because if they have gamma, you'll lose the game. So there's a lot of interesting things. Even like when you summon a helix, and like let's say you've been drawled in this turn, you summon your helix. Instead of summoning Master Plan from the deck, if you have your own drawn unlock bird for their turn, you can summon Last Resort, equip it, so then you can draw them. Your helix won't die, and if they do manage to like kill your field, your draw will still hurt them and not hurt you. Whereas if you had a Master Plan, your draw will hurt yourself when you out the Master Plan. Yeah. But yeah, I think the mirror match can be very skillful in a sense with those interactions, playing around hand traps, playing around maxi, searching right things off resorts so you can play around drawn lockbird and stuff. But at the same time, it can be very high variance, and whoever draws the right cards wins. But I think that can be said about every game.
So the SPYRAL Mirrormatch is a whole topic for everybody this weekend, of course. There's not really a favorite position now because people tend to choose their own version of the deck. There's the go second build now and a go first build. While both specifically do one thing better than the other, like the go first build has way more combo potential and the boards are pretty unbeatable. But while you do that, you sacrifice a lot of space for like hand traps, and that makes you vulnerable if your opponent starts. So many people decided on the go second build to not be that dependent on hand traps to let them play. It's a whole science for itself because it's very paradox. The SPYRAL Mirror can either go like 10 minutes because just somebody opened a hand trap, stopped their opponent, and then did their own combo, or your opponent doesn't open one and you can just pull through and win. But on the other hand, if both players have a hand trap, the game goes forever because then both are on low resources. You have interaction like agent popping resorts. A lot of the SPYRAL cards don't do anything if resort is active. Then you have like borrow load, which is a problem to deal with. So you can't really predict how the game goes. I think it's a pretty good mirror match like we see lately, because most of the time it goes into that grind game. And that grind game can be very skillful because you have to manage your resources, especially cards like Rescue or Big Reds are very important. And people tend to use them too early because they think of the combo potential, but that's where you can get an edge. If you get into the mid or late game in SPYRAL, you can definitely, if you're the better player, you can definitely make a lot out of it. So also, as it's pretty consistent, it shouldn't happen that one player bricks. That can happen always, of course. But as both players get to play normally, it's going to go into the very good game. And I personally pretty enjoyed the SPYRAL Mirrormatch. Yeah, obviously you have to test it a lot. There's small interactions, which is known, like, especially as we've seen in London already, there's small interactions, just people win by it. Like, the best thing was for me is like, if you use Last Resort to clear an Oracle of Zephyr. So I'm looking forward to playing a lot of these this weekend.
The SPYRAL Mirrormatch is quite an interesting one right now, in that if both players have built their deck to go first, it's hugely dependent on who wins the die roll, because a board of Trigate Wizard and Firewall Dragon and a Spiral Sleeper all backed up, nothing is going to break through that. However, some people are choosing to go second, and they will have a much better chance if they lose the die roll, or you could get a very interesting situation if you have two players that have both built to go second, where not a lot happens and it comes a very slow and grindy game until somebody thinks they've built up all the resources that they need to combo off. Obviously, neither player is necessarily favored unless you have that situation where they've both built to choose either first or second, in which case the person who gets what they wanted is likely to have a significant advantage in the matchup.